All right, so looking at 4.6, we're going to learn how to graph lines without using a table, okay? So remember, whenever we use the table, we always had to solve for y. We always had to solve for y first, so take a moment and solve for y, and I'm going to pause and show all my work and all that fun jazz. All right, so hopefully when you solve for y, you get y equals 3/2 x plus 1, okay? So remember when we're plugging values in for x, they're to find our y value. So, but we have this fraction here. We have a denominator. So I'm going to put values in for x that kind of get rid of the fraction. So I'm going to do multiples of 2. So I always start with 0. I'm going to do a positive 2, maybe a negative 2. And let's throw something in crazy like -8 or something, okay? So you could have chose different points, and if you did, that's fine. But I just like to spruce it up some. I lied. I think -8 might be off the graph, so we're not going to do that one. What about -6? Let's make this a 6. Okay. So I'm going to plug these in for x here. So I want you to start working on that. I'm going to show all my work. You find those points. All right, so I got the points 0, 1, 2, 4, -2, -2, and -6, -8. So now let's plot these points. Okay, so plot yours while I'm plotting my points. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 4, -2, -2, and then -6, -8. Okay, so we're going to go boop and draw a straight line, or as straight as you can make it. And that's my graph. However, we're going to do something different, okay? So, looking at the same example, I'm going to tell you some steps first. So, the first steps for solving or graphing linear equations, if you're not using a table, is to solve for y. For y first. Always get it as y equals. Then you graph your y-intercept. Graph the y-intercept. Then you graph some points. So then you graph points. And you find these points by using your slope. So you do that by your slope. Okay. So we've already solved this for y up here. So I'm just going to copy this down. So I'm going to rewrite this down here because it's the same equation if you noticed. So I'm not going to redo work. So I know it was y equals 3/2 x plus 1. So which number is my y-intercept and which one's my slope? Okay, so my y-intercept is this plus 1. That means that my y-intercept is an ordered pair that's 0, 1. Okay, it's kind of hard to read. So my y-intercept, remember your y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, and that's at a 0 value for x, and then a 1 value, because it's plus 1. If it was -1, it'd be a -1, okay? Then we have to graph some points using our slope, and our slope is 3/2. So we're going to start our graph at 0, 1. Then, I remember slope is rise over run. So that means I'm rising 3 and I'm running 2. I'm rising 3, running 2. Rising 3, running 2. Same thing, rise 3. But when you go down, you go to the left. Okay. And so now that's my line. That's my line. There, connect all the dots. Okay. I take my line, since I'm just counting boxes, all the way from one end to the graph to the other. The bare minimum you have to do is 5. So you have to do at least 5 points, bare minimum. But I would take it all the way, and that's going to make sense when we do a later unit, unit 5, okay? So let's compare these two. So let's compare these. So I know up top we had 0, 1. We had -2, -2. We had 2, 4. And we had -6, -8. So our line definitely overlapped. We just didn't have as many points there, okay? So they create the same line, just using the table is not as easy or not as manageable when you're doing things as it is from graphing from slope-intercept form, okay? So we're always going to want to graph from slope-intercept form. So let's go to the next page. I'm sorry, I'm stuffed up. It is terrible. So we always want to solve for y. Is this in slope-intercept form? Yes. So then I want to graph my y-intercept. Remember, my y-intercept is this value, and my slope is this value. Okay, so I'm going to graph my y-intercept, which is the point 0, 5. Okay, all y-intercepts have a 0 value for x because it's where they cross the y-axis, okay? And that's at 0x. So I go 0, 5. And that's where I put my first point at. And then my slope. My slope is rising a -2 and going towards a +1. So what that means is I'm going down 2, but then I'm going towards a +1. Going down 2, I'm going towards a +1. Going down 2, +1, down 2, and so on and so forth. Okay. And same thing up. And now I can connect those points, which is boom, 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 boom. That's not the straightest line ever. Okay, so I put a lot of dots on there. So if you only wanted to do 5, that's fine with me. Okay. So hopefully you're getting the hang of it. So I want you to try example 2 on your own. Okay, try example 2. So if you want to solve for y and then unpause and see where I go from there, that's cool too. Start always by solving for y, finding your y-intercept, and then graphing using your slope. Okay, so your equation is y equals -3x minus 2. So your y-intercept is 0, -2. And then again, it's a negative number. So your slope is going down and to the right or up and to the left. Okay, so my self-paced friends, your homework's down here. Okay, so try that one for me.